Hello and welcome to another edition of Foreign Dispatches, the program that takes you around the world in 25 minutes. I'm Layo Adegoke, standing in for your regular host, Teniola Shobowale. On the program this week, the migrant crisis at the Belarus-Poland border continues, with the EU threatening more sanctions against Belarus. We begin with the continuous migrant crisis at the Belarus-EU border. In recent months, the migration crisis has been rumbling along that border, where thousands of people are stranded in the cold, being denied entry into the EU. The bloc has accused Belarus of weaponizing migrants, luring in people from the Middle East to dump them at the EU's borders to retaliate against targeted EU sanctions. According to some EU officials, this episode has once again been met with a chaotic response due to political disagreements.
Video released by the Polish border guard on Monday, November 15th, showed a group of migrants trying to break through the fence at the Poland-Belarus border. The migrants, camped on the Belarusian side, were seen using tree trunks and wooden ladders in an attempt to break through the razor fence. The border guard described the scene on a post published with the video as a failed attempt by a group of 60 migrants to move across the border. Thousands of migrants have traveled to Belarus in the hope of crossing into the European Union, only to find themselves trapped on the wooded border in bitter winter conditions. After Tuesday's standoff at the Poland-Belarus border between thousands of stranded migrants and the Polish border forces, a video published by Polish officials on Twitter shows that the crossing point compound has been cleared on the Belarusian side. The migrants are seemingly returning to their former makeshift camps located a few hundred meters further along the borderline, the Polish border guard announced on Tuesday afternoon. According to the Polish authorities, more than 20,000 Polish security service members from the police, border guard or army are reinforcing the border, where migrants have gathered near a crossing at the Polish town of Kuznica. An estimated 4,000 migrants are near the border, and many say Belarusian authorities are not allowing them to return to Minsk. Poland and the EU have accused Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko of trying to retaliate against EU sanctions by deliberately inviting and forcing migrants towards the Polish border. In response, the Polish foreign minister says that a sixth round of sanctions on Belarus will be needed as what he called a hybrid war intensified on the Poland-Belarus border. He made the comments after the European Union's foreign ministers agreed to introduce the fifth package of sanctions on Belarus.
A political decision has been made regarding the fifth package of sanctions. Nobody was opposed to the idea that a sixth round of sanctions will be needed because simply the hybrid war which impacts us is intensifying without any doubt.
Belarus's strongest ally, President Vladimir Putin of Russia, says that Russia had nothing to do with the crisis on close ally Belarus's border with the European Union.
I want everybody to know we have nothing to do with it. Everybody is trying to make us responsible for something at every given opportunity. Our airlines do not transport those people, not a single company. By the way, neither does Belarus airline at Belavia. Alexander Lukashenko told me they book charter flights, visa-free entrance to Belarus. People buy tickets and go.
This comes as it blamed the European Union for the migrant crisis on the border between Belarus and Poland, saying it was failing to uphold its own humanitarian values and trying to strangle Belarus with plans to close parts of the border. The crisis has led to the EU to prepare further sanctions against Belarus, which it accuses of attempting to destabilize the bloc by pushing migrants across the border illegally. The EU says Belarus is encouraging migrants to cross the border in revenge for earlier sanctions over a crackdown on protests last year against President Alexander Lukashenko's contested re-election. Belarus, a close Russian ally, says assertions it had fueled the border crisis were absurd.
Canadians in the British Columbia province are battling with the effects of climate change as roads and rail links have been washed away following a deadly storm in Vancouver, Canada. It has been called a once-in-a-century weather event. Thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes due to the massive storm.
Severe flooding left parts of southern British Columbia submerged under flood waters on Tuesday, November the 16th, as landslides in the east killed at least one person and left two others missing. 2 days of torrential rainfall across the Pacific province touched off major flooding and shut rail routes operated by Canadian Pacific Rail and Canadian National Railway, Canada's two biggest rail companies. The floods have also closed numerous highways, and rail access to the Port of Vancouver, Canada's largest, has also been cut off. The Globe and Mail newspaper said a mudslide has swept cars off the road near Pemberton, some 100 kilometers to the northeast of Vancouver, killing an unspecified number of people. Authorities in Merritt, some 120 miles northeast of Vancouver, ordered all 8,000 citizens to leave on Monday as river waters rose quickly, but some were still trapped in their homes.
So our home is good. We're safe. We're a little bit above where the flooding has all occurred. And again, lucky that happened. And my aunt and uncle's house is in the water. My cousin, who just finished having a baby in Kamloops 2 days ago, their house is totally flooded. They have nowhere to go back home. So we're just all waiting, right? We're just all waiting to know what happens and what is happening next. And our kids are asking, and just a lot of uncertainty and destruction. And it's devastating for us. It's going to take years, to get back to where we were.
Farmers and community members in Abbotsford, British Columbia, helped to rescue roughly 50 stranded cattle from a farm after heavy rains swept the western Canadian province. Abbotsford Mayor Henry Brown said he was proud of the way the community was coming together to deal with the emergency, but added more assistance was needed from the government.
Well, this is a disaster. This is a local state emergency, and I think people to the west of us here in Metro Vancouver have no idea what we're dealing with on the eastern half of our city. Abbotsford is the largest geographical city in the province, and 3/4 of it is in agricultural land like what you see here, and they're evacuating cows from WestGen over here with boats. The farmers are very adaptive to dealing with the situations and figuring out how to do things, but we need to get some more help here from our province.
Floods have also hampered pipelines. Enbridge Incorporated shut a segment of the British Columbia natural gas pipeline as a precaution. The storms also forced the closure of the Trans Mountain pipeline, which takes up to 300,000 barrels per day of crude oil from Alberta to the Pacific coast. The landslides and floods come less than 6 months after wildfires gutted an entire town, as temperatures in the province soared during a record-breaking heat dome.
The air still remains toxic in New Delhi, India, with citizens ordered into lockdown. Schools and colleges have been asked to shut down indefinitely by the Supreme Court amid the city's worsening levels of air pollution.
India's Supreme Court has ordered people in New Delhi and surrounding regions to work from home over pollution concerns. The top court issued a work-from-home order over toxic pollution concerns in the country's capital. The Supreme Court told authorities on Monday, November the 15th, to shut offices in and around New Delhi and nearby cities, allowing millions to return home while officials seek ways to reduce hazardous air pollution.
Lockdowns, they will really affect the economy, given that we already, Delhiites have been facing during the COVID crisis. So there should be, I think, also the issue of burning crop rallies near the NCR region that has not been able to solve during the issues between the center like state governments. So there must be measures rather than doing drastic measures like lockdowns.
New Delhi in the north of India has been battling a toxic haze since early November. City authorities had already taken emergency measures to close schools and cease buildings work for 4 days from Saturday, November the 13th.
The problem of pollution has increased after Diwali, and the situation of pollution has changed a lot in the last 10 days. That is why the Delhi government is taking steps at different levels. From today, all schools, colleges and institutions have been closed. Construction activities have been stopped, and employees and officers in the government offices have been told to work from home in Delhi.
The court also sought measures to halt non-essential vehicle traffic, cut industrial pollution and limit dust. Resident Geeta Jain explains the impact the pollution is having on people's physical health.
Nowadays, everyone is having breathing problems and irritation in their eyes as soon as they step out. It feels as if no one should go out, but you're suffocating inside the house, so it's important you go out. It is also important to be physical. For several times we've come out and returned because it feels as if there is smoke everywhere. Even if we wear masks, we feel irritation in the eyes.
Meanwhile, hospitals in the Indian capital, New Delhi, are reporting a spike in the number of patients with respiratory ailment being admitted following a surge in pollution levels.
One is a fresh case of respiratory ailment where patient gives a history of exposure to prolonged, pollution exposure, and then followed by a sudden increase in breathlessness, chest tightness, and pain. And there is another subgroup which is a chronic lung patient, asthmatic patient, or a patient who has COPD, interstitial lung disease, or a post-COVID recovering patient. They are also coming in big numbers because of the pollution.
Contributors to the poor air quality in New Delhi, often ranked the world's most polluted capital, include coal-fired plants outside the city, as well as the burning of garbage in the open. The court also seeks urgent steps to rein in crop waste fires in the neighboring states of Haryana, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh, set by hundreds of farmers looking to clear fields for a new sowing season. Recent efforts to reduce the burning of crop waste, a major source of air pollution during winter, have seen little benefit. On Monday, Delhi recorded an air index quality of 343 on a scale of 500, a sign of what they call very poor conditions that can cause respiratory illness on prolonged exposure. The capital has been experiencing severe conditions late last week as temperatures dropped and the index reached 499.
At the 40th Sharjah International Book Fair, literature from Africa did not resonate to its capacity. In the midst of 1.3 million unique titles displayed from 1,633 publishers, only 50 titles were from the continent with few authors. However, the chairman of the Sharjah Book Authority revealed that this edition has the biggest African participation. Our correspondent Halima Gayam tells us more.
Thank you so much, Abdulrazak Gurna.
2021 Literature Nobel Prize winner Abdulrazak Gurna headlines the event.
When we say writing, being a writer, that is a particular...
And does not agree African authors are inadequate.
I don't think it's the case that there are few African writers visible, as it were. I suppose it depends where you're looking or where you're standing.
His presence and that of some few other African authors fill the atmosphere with the African flavor. Showcasing the blend of Africa to the rest of the world pleases the Book Authority.
Everything is different. By the biggest African participation this year, the Sharjah International Book Fair, you can see the world are coming to meet Africa through Sharjah Gateway. Sharjah is becoming the gateway between the African and the rest of the world.
In the midst of 15 million books of several literatures from around the world displayed in thousands of stalls, this one stands alone representing African literature with 50 titles and 8 authors. Off-putting, but it is a notch above last year, which had 1 author and 1 book. Candy Summers Going Home. The 13-year-old author who told her story of resilience returns again.
I hope to inspire people my age and of my color to show them that they can do anything, no matter where they're from and how old they are.
She, alongside other first-timers, participate in the book signing culture. Assembled by the Black Book Initiative, whose dismay from last year prompted this, they plan to do more.
We are planning to take this to all the other book fairs across the world, in Europe, America, and we have started in the UAE because UAE has got two of the biggest book fairs.
South African Trevor Noah wraps the event with memories from his childhood, which inspired his book, Burn a Crime.
I was embarrassed of how I grew up. I was embarrassed of how poor my family was. I was embarrassed that I grew up in a home of domestic abuse. I was embarrassed, genuinely, because you know, as people, we want to put out a picture of perfection because we don't want to be judged by other people.
This is the biggest African participation at the fair, yet the flair of the African literature is not felt as it is in reality. A region with several beautiful writers who have put the African culture on pages. Presentation of the African literature to fairs like this exposes the region's culture and heritage to a diverse audience who appreciate literatures.
Let's continue in the UAE to meet with Nigerian teen sensation Joseph Adeji, who has been named winner of an award by the Hack for Earth Foundation. The 15-year-old art student was hosted at the Nigeria Pavilion located in the Expo 2020 site in Dubai.
15-year-old Nigerian Joseph Adeji takes to shine at the Nigeria Pavilion. On what should have been the country's National Day celebration at the Expo 2020, his imagination has attracted the world's attention, and this makes up for the postponed event.
Hi, my name is Joseph Adeji, and my dream is to wake up and see a world with economic and political stability.
Adeji's dream video won the Hack for Earth Foundation's Dream for Earth Award, and that won him a trip to the expo.
I saw the advert on Facebook. I have a setting on Facebook that brings anything that have to do with United Nations or competitions, challenge to me. So I saw this competition on Facebook. Then I went to use an app. I also saw the advert in an in-app app. I went to a game. So I also saw the same advert. I went to YouTube. I saw the same advert. So I decided to check it because in the description I saw something that have to do with share your dream with the UN SDG goals. So and I love the SDG goals. So I decided to read more. Then I got interested in the competition and I decided to prepare. So I started writing. I started preparing like a write-up for the video.
His dream got more than 7,000 likes. And we had 1,200 dreams from 61 countries.
I mean, youth are the future, and it's the youth that are going to inherit the planet after the older generations. So we need to focus absolutely on the youth and to teach them about to take care of the planet, teach them about how to fight poverty, teach them about how to be more healthy, and so on and so forth.
Hack for Earth's ongoing hackathon is domiciled at the Swiss Pavilion and aims to promote citizen-driven innovation that creates real solutions for the future.
We took all the dreams and we created challenges upon them. So this is basically taking the dreams of people of the world and making them come true for our future. So right now, actually, there are more than 120 countries, teams from more than 120 countries participating in this global online hackathon. And actually, the most participants are joining from Nigeria. So more than, I think, 45 teams are joining from Nigeria among the 120 countries. So that's really an amazing achievement. A lot of people in Nigeria are very passionate about creating change for our future.
The art student who hopes to someday become a diplomat has several tech skills and also has a team participating in the competition.
Our solution name is called Mimo. We're trying to build a virtual pharmacy, which we diagnose you. Everything that a pharmacy will do to you, this app will be able to do it.
Already there are a lot of people from Nigeria that have applied for this and have made submissions. So we're looking forward to hosting more Nigerians and more Nigerian winners at the Nigerian Pavilion.
Adedeji's fate at the Nigerian Pavilion is expected to set off a series of other events in the coming days.
I'm just so excited and proud that it was a Nigerian that won out of all the countries. So that's great.
And as we end the program, Nigerian musical Fela and the Kalakuta Queens makes its debut at the UAE Expo 2020 in Dubai as the first showcase at the Nigerian Pavilion. The musical, which highlights the story of the 27 women who stood by late Afrobeat icon Fela Kuti, was well received by a multinational audience. Our correspondent Mayowa Adegoke captured the event and shares more with us.
Bolanle Austin Peters' stellar production, Fela and the Kalakuta Queens, makes its UAE debut at the ongoing Expo 2020 in Dubai. The musical is the first event hosted by the Nigerian Pavilion at the global exhibition, which kicked off on October the 1st. This musical highlights the behind-the-music relationship of the Afrobeat legend with the 27 ladies he infamously married at a single ceremony back in 1978. Nollywood actress Osazi Godaro is an audience favorite as she makes her appearance in the story as Malaika.
Thank you to Dubai Expo for having us and allowing us to showcase our culture, our love, our passion. I'm honored. I'm honored to be a part of showcasing who we are as a country. And I'm excited to see how other people partake in what we deliver. It's really, really nice seeing their expressions and their reactions and their thirst to learn more. So I really like that part of it.
That is light on heavy wind Adeji, who says he'll play the character till he grows out of shape.
It's almost like a dream for me, you know, because it's been someone I've followed since I was like, 6 years old. And now I get to play the man. I mean, you know, it's something it's very surreal for me.
It's a mixed audience of Nigerians and several other nationalities. All are impressed with the production.
I think even just the artist fella, I immediately wanted to know more about him specifically, watching this and stuff like that. I'm not super familiar with him and even like Nigeria culture and all that stuff, and I'd love to learn more.
Nigerians need to be really, really proud of what they did today, what Bola Austin Peters has put together, and encourage her to do even more. It was really amazing. Nigeria or any African pavilion announces that they're having a show, this place will be packed.
They just promised us that this is just the tip of the iceberg, that more will come, so we have high expectations. They've started this high, so they're saying they're going to take it to this level, so we're waiting.
I'm happy to see people from all over the world being so impressed and loving what we did, and I'm proud that we are telling Nigerian stories to the world because we have beautiful stories to tell, and they're appreciating it. And the cast did a fantastic job in delivering it, so I'm happy.
We are desperate to let the whole world see it. So every time BAP comes up with a new destination, we're like, come on, let's go. And then this is it, like, we have to travel more because it's such a great story of a great man from Nigeria.
Nigeria's presence at the expo is expected to attract tourists and investments.
So, they bring fashion. We copy. Then I'll bring this what they call a system of governance.
Well, this is where we say goodbye till next time. But remember, our top stories are never far away. You can catch them on channelstv.com. Thank you so much for watching the program. I'm Layo Adegoke.